Welcome to Let's Get Healthy on Talk 1370. Brought to you by People's RX, Austin's favorite pharmacy. We're taking your calls live at 512-643-LIVE. That's 512-643-5483.
Hey, good morning, everybody. This is Dr. Richard Massey, joined by
Meridian Grace.
Yeah. Hey, Meridian, how are you this morning?
Well, darling, it's been a lovely morning with you so far.
And the other thing is if you want to have some protection from mosquitoes bothering you, you can get natural mosquito repellents so that you don't have to put toxic things on your skin. And that way you can go outside and exercise and stay fit. Like Fred Bartlett, our next guest, who's already on the phone, I'm told. Good morning, Fred.
Good morning.
Good morning, Fred.
Wow, nice strong voice. How are you this morning?
Well, I'm great. I'm in Colorado where there's no mosquitoes.
Are you in the snow?
And I'm almost 86 years old, and I'm on my way up to Vail as soon as we're done for a great day of skiing with my son and two grandsons.
That is so awesome.
That sounds
Fred, you
good.
are such an inspiration to us all. So
my ideas and my book fit in. I've read a lot about you because whenever I talk to somebody, I look at their materials. And interestingly, your views on Big Pharma and my views on Big Pharma are basically the same, that there's almost none of these drugs that are worth a damn, and they're not needed. And I like to have a conversation back and forth, so maybe it's okay with you, I'll make a couple of points, and then you can interrupt, and we'll have a back and forth, if that's okay.
That sounds great. Go ahead.
Okay, so what I'm going to say now, some people will think is an overstatement. It is not. I flat guarantee it. Everybody hearing this, the entire U.S. is facing a major medical catastrophe that's ruining huge chunks of every single one of our lives, and is a real serious threat to bankrupt our healthcare system. This is an insidious disease. Until recently, the disease was thought to be just inevitable. It happened to you when you got old. Very recently, to the surprise of a lot of people, the American Medical Association called it an official disease, not a condition. Almost none of our doctors are even aware of this, even know it's a disease. So what is this that affects everybody listening to this?
The
It's a
effects
loss
of
of
modern
strength.
living.
It's a loss of strength that begins at age 30, accelerates at 50, goes downhill fast after 65, causes frailty, and a whole cascade of chronic ills that ruin most of the last half of our lives. Everybody hearing this is affected. Nobody's immune.
Couldn't agree with you more.
So, what are some of the things that will surprise you about this disease? A third of everybody who reaches 65 will end up incarcerated in nursing homes. These are CDC numbers, by the way, and everything in my book is peer-reviewed. This is not just me. A third of the people who reach 65 will be locked up, incarcerated in nursing homes. There's no money for nursing homes. The U.S. government, and this will get you guys, says that this loss of strength is one of the worst diseases in America, affecting the largest number of people with no cure, no therapy. And listen to this. They just had a huge conference urging major drug companies to invent drugs that'll cure this disease. They said if you can even improve the loss of strength by 2%, that would be worth billions.
Wow.
And one of the top doctors in America, a brilliant person, Oxford, Harvard, everywhere, has written a long piece advising all of us that because of this disease, loss of strength, life is so awful after age 75 that it's better to die at 75. When I read that article, I know this man. He's a wonderful man. He means well. But think of advising. The day I read this, I was up in Vail skiing with my 15-year-old granddaughter. And I read this. I was 84, And here's one of the smartest guys in America saying I should have been dead 10 years ago. And it's one that was one of the best days of my entire life. And tomorrow, skiing with my son and 2 grandsons, skiing the chutes in Vail, skiing fast and everything. It'll be maybe one of the best 10 days of my entire life.
Good.
Well, God willing, it will be just that.
So what do you think? So as is often the case, and I have 2 sons-in-laws who are surgeons, and I have a daughter who's been a labor delivery nurse for 40 years, and all this medical advice is flat dead wrong. The UK medical colleges, Harvard Medical School, say there's a miracle cure for this terrible disease. Harvard says it's a powerful preventive of chronic diseases like heart disease and cancer. It's an antidote to the loss of strength while aging. Guess what the cure is? Well, I listened to your little lead-in, and you guys believe in exercise, and you believe in exercise a natural way. The cure, believe it or not, this shouldn't surprise anybody. The cure to loss of strength is weight training to increase your strength, period. And remember, this is the UK medical community and Harvard. Weight training is a miracle cure for frailty and aging. It's an antidote to frailty and aging. You all had an aunt or an uncle. Aunt Nan fell down, broke her hip at 72, never walked again, was bedbound at the end of her life. That's all preventable. And I know most people think they think this is remarkable. But not only can you prevent the loss of strength, but this is Harvard now, and my website, strongpath.com, cites all these articles. Harvard just sent out a maybe 50-page study of exercise with aging, and they say that from 20 to 80% of the chronic diseases that kill us, heart disease, cancer, Alzheimer's, diabetes, all these chronic diseases are prevented to a significant extent by weightlifting.
Wow.
So we can bring our lives, and that's what I've done. I've brought my life back at 86. I'm 85, almost 86, back to when my life was at its very best. When I was 22, I was a U.S. Army Ranger. I was nobody to mess with. I could do anything. And my life now is the same. I'm a better skier than I've ever been. I'm shooting my age at golf. But what's more, I get up in the morning feeling strong, happy, cheerful, bright-eyed. I'm not stumbling around. I'm not falling. My world is not getting smaller because I'm afraid to do things like a lot of older people are. And it's not because of me. It's because I learned the strong path, which is weight training. So what did I get wrong, guys?
Wow. No, that sounds good. I'd like to hear a little bit about your routine, Fred.
Okay. Now, again, on my website, I'm not a doctor, so I'm very careful to put Harvard Medical School's advice on how to get started. Because, you should check with your doctor, but things like heart attacks, things like bad joints, Harvard says should not prevent you. So
Okay.
you can make huge increases with 3 days a week. And that's because your strength comes back before muscle grows, because a big chunk of the loss of strength is because our nervous system has motor units that operate the muscles, and they just forget how to do it. And you retrain them and teach them again, and your strength comes back fast, okay?
Okay.
So, but it's a basic routine because I want to be the best I can possibly be, not just, okay. I do more than 3 days a week. If people do it 3 days a week, probably do, chest exercises, 10 or 12 sets, back exercises, arm exercises, triceps and biceps, shoulder exercises, and then most importantly, leg exercises. In the old days, the old baseball coaches would say the legs go first. Boy, they do. And that's why Aunt Helen fell down. The fast twitch muscles you need to balance yourself are gone. So I have a whole separate routine on balance, standing on one foot, waiting for an elevator, going up steps, 2 steps at a time, jumping around on a Bosu ball, one of those half rubber balls,
Yep.
and skipping. if you watch NFL players and NBA players before a game, they're skipping like we did when we were kids.
Mm-hmm.
Why do they do that? Because to skip, you got to lift your legs high, your feet have to move fast, you got to exercise those fast twitch muscles. So I work out with heavy weights to failure, and then I do a bunch of other exercises, including cardio. Of course, you don't want to give up cardio, but the fact is, if you were only going to do one thing, it would be weight training, not cardio. Most people, as they get into their 70s, a lot of my friends, they think it's good to be thin and to walk slowly. Totally, completely wrong. You over 70, you want to be a little on the heavy side, so you're strong, and so you can resist disease and things like that. So there's a whole new, in my book, Choosing the Strong Path. Everything is laid out in there. And everything is peer-reviewed. I've got about 500 links in there to the actual medical research that supports what I say. Nothing that I say is the ravings of a stupid old man. Well, you know what I mean. You deal with all kind of people. People get goofy ideas.
Yes.
But people would have a hard time calling you a stupid old man, Fred. There's a little absurdity, for me anyway, about that statement.
Well, you know what? For years... when I was in my 50s and 60s, I'm a lawyer, try big cases all over. My partners in the law firm I was in at that time said, here's Fred Bartlett. He does this stupid weight training. Because weight training in America, particularly among the so-called elite, has a stigma of a bunch of big guys grunting in a strip mall gym.
Yes.
So I got into this because I met this fabulous woman. And I said, I was 50 and she was 35, and I was going to sort of show off and take her to a gym. I took her to a gym. We walked out. To this day, we both remember her saying, that's the silliest thing I've ever seen in my life. By the time you're 60, you're going to be dead if you don't watch out. I thought I'd impressed her. I said, what should I do? She said, I'll find you a real raggedy shirt, strip mall gym with a real trainer whose neck is bigger than your waist. She got me there. She got me started. And my whole life changed when I was 50. And by the time I was in my early 60s, I noticed my longtime friends falling away. No more skiing. I don't want to walk in golf anymore. I don't play basketball. And I started doing research like I've always been trained to do. And I found this. In 1992, I found this unknown disease. I started reading it. I started harping at my wife about it, and she said, why don't you write a book? And so this is I got maybe 10 good years left, and my 10 good years are trying to create a movement that will teach people that the last 20, if you're 65, you're probably going to live to be 90. That's what the data shows. That's 25 years or so. That's half of your adult life. What I'm teaching everybody is that the last half of your adult life, those 25 years they're not just the golden years. They're better than the golden years. You will be able to do all the things you love doing better than you've ever done them in your life before. You don't believe that, but it's true. Read the book, look at my website. I'm not kidding about this. I know people tend to think, come on, Fred. You're a trial lawyer. You're used to convincing people of things. That's an overstatement. It's not. It's not. And it's Harvard Medical School.
I like that. I like that a lot, Fred. That's actually very encouraging.
It is.
And so tell us the name of your book again and how people can get in touch with your info.
Okay, my book is Choosing the Strong Path, Reversing the Downward Spiral of Aging. Who wouldn't want to reverse the downward spiral of aging? Well, you all know about it. If you're anybody who's, my son's 58, he says his friends in their 50s now, because America is so sedentary, they're now beginning to say, I can't do this, my knees hurt, my back hurts. Okay, I'm 86, I don't have a sore joint.
Wow.
So my book's on Amazon. It's number one now in the world in the 2 or 3 most important categories: exercise while aging, weight training, and longevity. And my website, which is strongpath.com, no advertising, no pop-ups, none of that stuff that bugs us when we're trying to get information. It's all the latest research put on there by me and paid for by me. There's no advertising. I don't get a penny from it. So the only reason to read it is to learn that, and there's a lot of videos there. The speech I gave to the NIH when they said that they're going to invent drugs to do this. I told them drugs will never work and why they won't work. People there told me I was nuts. I'm not nuts. They told me that skiing our government said skiing at age 86 is crazy. You're going to kill yourself. I said, you just don't get it. You know why they don't get it?
Why?
You know, all doctors tell me there's no teaching of exercise physiology in medical school.
Yeah, that was true when I was in medical school.
They don't teach preventive stuff. They're very good if somebody's bedbound because they fell and broke their hip. They're good at getting them out of bed and having them spend their life with a walker. They're no good at preventing people from getting disabled in the first place.
Yeah.
That's what I do. I will prevent you from getting disabled in the first place.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Fred. And I think that's a high note, and we're getting close to the end, and we'll have you back on again if you'd be willing to come back.
I sure will be, and I'm very honored to have been on with you guys. I'd like to get to know you a little better.
Thank you so much, and say hello to the family and enjoy those ski slopes.
You bet. Take it easy.
All right. Bye for now. All right. That was kind of exciting, huh?
It was.
I mean, I may go home and do a couple of squats or something. I'm not sure. How about you?
Well, just before this talk, I did 3 sets of 10 squats and all those arm exercises and got myself all warmed up and getting my NOS moving. And I'm 65. So
yeah, and he says you're probably going to live to be 90. How did that feel to hear that?
I said, in my mind, I was going, Fred, you don't know me. It's going to be more like 120. My dad was 93 when he passed away. So
yeah. Well, we may have to get some weights here. I'm going to check into this because I had shied away from weightlifting. You know, at 68, I'm thinking, yeah, I'm just going to do the slow walking thing and stay fit that way. And then Fred's saying, maybe that's not the strongest path.
Well, I personally love the work where you're doing 1 set to total exhaustion for each muscle and really perfect form and slowly.
All right.
Yeah.
So everybody check this out. Choosing the Strong Path, Fred Bartlett.
Yeah.